See, being a music expert and all, people probably think I know everything about every single band on this planet. Wrong. See, if I knew everything about every band, this wouldn't be fun for me. Part of the fun of getting to find new music is the fun of finding new artists that you never knew before. Hey guys, welcome to Josh Dell'Aria's Musical Escapades. My name's Josh Dell'Aria, and today I'm really excited because I'm finally going to get to share another song from 2018 with you guys. See, I always like to be geared toward the end of the year when I do my top 20, and in order to do that, I have to find songs from the current year, and I'd like to gear this show to that a lot more. Unfortunately, in the first 3 or 4 months of the year, there's obviously not as much music put out from the year as there is in the last 3 or 4 months. And obviously the big reason is because there hasn't been a lot of year that's passed yet. So, there is still hope for me to find a ton of new music. I'm searching as hard as I can, and I'm not finding a whole lot at the moment. But, there is hope. I have found this one song, as I mentioned, from this band that I don't know a whole lot about. So I've been listening to a local independent radio station here in Knoxville, and they've been playing this song for the last couple of months. And I just was never in a position to find out the title until probably a couple weeks ago. And once I did, I ran and got this song as fast as I could. I found out this is from Umphrey's McGee, which is a band originally out of Chicago. And they've been around since 2002, but I've never heard of them before. I may have heard about them a little bit, but I don't think I ever went out and figured out what their music was all about. The band just released an album in January called It's Not Us, and they've said that the idea behind it is that there's no focus. It's a kind of representation of their ADD, and so they have all these different styles and all these different types of music and different rhythms and different ideas that they're focusing on, so there's no real coherent theme in the album. This song, called Have to Lead, has more of like a jam band feel, and one of the things I think it does a really great job of is Modal Mixture, which I'll explain in more detail after you guys listen to the song. So let me play it for you here. It's called Have to Lead. It's Umphrey's McGee. One thing I should mention before the song too is that the music fades in, so for a couple seconds you're going to hear absolutely nothing, and then the music's going to start. I think it's a good effect of the song, so I just don't want to catch you guys by surprise. Here it is.
Told you that you're never like you've advertised. So you're never really lonely, it's just a feeling you can change your mind. And I know that this is true, nobody really owns the truth like you do.
Okay, one of the best aspects about this song is its lyrics. I mean, just listen to this first verse.
Take a minute for a moment. I always so preoccupied. Have you ever really noticed that you're never there when you're right?
I mean, it's just incredible the way they put those words together. And I think, you know, there are a lot of musicians who just don't think about this a lot of times. And I get that it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to come up with lyrics like this. But it's incredible when it happens. And I think, you know, kind of dedicating yourself to making lyrics like this is really important as a musician. Just for the simple fact that, you know, it just expresses your ideas in a much better way than just kind of throwing something together. I'm not sure that there's a science to creating these kinds of lyrics. Like, I think sometimes they just kind of come upon you. But I do think that if you kind of talk in that way, or if you do a lot of reading, you start to get a lot of ideas out of doing that kind of thing. And, you know, a lot of times just the right words will kind of come to you. As far as I can tell, I think a good way of trying to figure out what the right word would be trying to figure out exactly what you want to express to your audience. Now, another cool thing that the band does here is that when they go to the ride cymbal on the drums at the end of each verse, they actually emphasize the lyrics right there.
And I really shouldn't have to explain it, why this train of thought is dangerous.
And so just having that extra cymbal in the background kind of just brings you more into the song, and it brings you more on what's being focused on at that moment, which is those lyrics. And I think that's just an incredible small thing that the band does that just makes that song so much better. Now, all that focus on the lyrics and the depth and, you know, emphasizing all that sort of stuff is fantastic, and it should definitely be included in the song. But what I think Umphrey's McGee does best here is they use a lot of modes. What do I mean by modes? Well, let me take you back to the video that I did on I'm With Her's song Pangea when I explained the major and minor keys, and that'll give you a start. Now, the only difference between those two scales, in all honesty, is that the minor scale uses the 3rd, 6th, and 7th notes of the scale as a half step down from the 3rd, 6th, and 7th notes of a major scale. So the major and minor scales are two examples of modes. There are two specific types of modes that they fit into particular keys, as I mentioned back then, and they're all based on those major and minor scales. Now, there are other scales that also revolve around certain notes that don't fit into the keys, and those are called modes. By the way, for the purposes of this video, the major and minor keys can also be referred to as the Ionian and Aeolian modes, respectively. So you'll probably hear me refer to those as time goes through this video, so just wanted you to be prepared. Umphrey's McGee changes modes pretty often in this song, usually about every 4 measures or so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some parts of the song here, and as they're playing it, kind of point out where they're changing modes and how you can tell. For the most part, it comes from hearing the 3rd, 6th, and 7th degrees of the scale. So in this case, since it's based on G, you're looking to see if there's a B flat or a B natural, an E flat or an E natural, or an F natural or an F sharp in this case. So let me play a little bit of it from close to the start here. So they're starting off here with this G chord, so that bases you on the note G, so it's going to be in one of the modes based on the note G. And they've played B natural in there, so from that you can narrow it down to being in the mode of either G Ionian, which is major, or G mixolydian, which is major with just a flat 7th. So instead of playing an F sharp, they're playing F. Now at this point they're going to hit a B flat, which changes everything and brings it into more of a minor, or it could be a Dorian mode if they play E naturals and not E flats, but I think they have E flats in there, so I think it's minor. And then they switch back to either mixolydian or major right there. And they keep going back and forth. pretty much every 4 measures for pretty much the entire song until the guitar solo, which I'll get to in just a second. Actually, before I get to that guitar solo, they do in the second verse play some E flats on the guitar. I'll show you that here.
So you're never really lonely, it's just a feeling you can change your mind.
Yeah, and that squarely puts them in the minor mode, the Aeolian mode. I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out because they do play E naturals in the guitar solo that's coming up, so you'll hear that a little bit too. Alright, let me fast forward to the guitar solo here. And so, obviously in the first 4 measures, they're sticking to an F natural. But in the 5th measure, they play an F sharp, which is actually the first F sharp in the entire song. And that solidifies the major mode, which I don't know for sure if I like that, because I think it's just cooler to say that you achieve modal mixture without going into the major, either the major or the minor key. I think it's just cooler just to say that you still get modal mixture even though you don't use one of those keys. But it's not terribly necessary. I don't know. I think it just makes the song a little bit more unique if you get the chance not to play it in either a major or minor key. Nonetheless, the fact that Umphrey's McGee even thinks about going into all these different modes is pretty fantastic in itself. Because, again, there's just not a lot of artists that think this way. It's kind of just been like a recent phenomenon that there have been, kind of a small group of artists that have decided they want to play more modal music than tonal music. I think a really good example, if you want to look back, is Civil Twilight. They're an excellent example of playing in modality rather than tonality, at least most of the stuff in their past. Like their most recent album was much more tonal, but in any case, I think Civil Twilight, Vanessa Carlton to an extent has done this type of thing, but there just aren't a lot of artists who will stray away from a major or minor key. It just seems like the whole, there's nothing wrong with it, but to me, branching outside of that is a lot more unique, and I think it is a little bit more difficult just because it's not as common. I do want to give a big thank you to Umphrey's McGee and their publicity team for letting me use their music. Thank you guys for watching this video. This song is definitely going to be in contention for the top 20 coming to the end of the year, and your song could be too. If you have any music that you've put out in the year of 2018 on a full album, it's eligible for the top 20. And so, if you want me to know about it, definitely email me here at joshdell'Ariasmusicalescapades@gmail.com or send me a direct message on our Facebook page, facebook.com/joshdmusicalescapades, and I will definitely look into it. And no guarantees that it'll be featured on the show, and no guarantees that it'll be featured for the top 20, but I will definitely look at it and give you some feedback one way or another how I think about it. And you can also find more about what I do on Facebook as well, on that same Facebook page, facebook.com/joshdmusicalescapades. All the top 20s are listed there, actually, and so if you want to go and see some of the best songs that have been out there over the years, you can go check them out there, and who knows, it can help you make a great song too, help you make the top 20s as well. So, definitely make sure you're checking that out. The top 20s are actually under the notes section on our Facebook page, so head over there, and you can check them out there. Again, thank you all for watching, and until next time, go make great music.